Okay, so right now, I'm going to talk about the children's book that I wrote called Breathing Through the Chakras with the Help of Essential Oils. And the reason I wrote this book is, if you haven't seen before, I'm an aroma yoga teacher. And aroma yoga has literally helped me release 10 pounds of negative energy from my body. Things that I had been holding on for years that I had no idea were still affecting me, that I was still having issues with, it has allowed me just to let it go. And in doing so, I literally lost weight because they were holding me down. And as I was, getting more into my practice and releasing these things, a lot of what was coming up was from childhood. And it made me really sad at the same point because I'd been holding on to these things that were hurting me for so long. And I was just about to I just had a child. I had just had a boy. And I remember thinking, how can I help him not hold on to these things throughout life like I did? Because if I can help him to not hold on to them, or let him know that you don't need to hold on to these pains, these hurts, these traumas, that we hold on through after life, he could have such a better quality of life, right? Like, such a happier kid, and just really learn to let go of things so much earlier in life than we do as adults, because we didn't know about these things. I didn't know about the chakras when I was a kid. I wish I would have. And so I wrote this book because I wanted to nonchalantly, because it can't just be like, this is what a chakra is, and him be like, huh, nonchalantly teach him about these things. And so that, every time I read the book to him, and now he just stares at it and smells the book himself because he loves it so much. But the more we read it, I read it to him, and then he reads it, and then as he hears it or picks up the scent of essential oil, it will stimulate his mind, take him back to the book, and he has a new aspect of life or a situation every time. Because I've incorporated the essential oils because we know how amazing they are, right? How stimulating they are to the mind. They can help release the traumas in our amygdalas and help us create new ones, Think of the sense of smell, like when you smell grandma's cookies, or maybe Thanksgiving, these times where all of these smells just take us back, literally in time, because they're so precious to us. And that's what I want this book to do throughout his life, and throughout your children's life and your grandchildren's lives, throughout all these kids' lives. Because not only when I read the book to him I'm taking something away, which seems silly, but it is. It's just, it triggers something new every time, and we don't realize it. And that's beautiful because you don't have to realize it, but you're letting go of things that you didn't know you were holding on to. As well as I'm teaching my little one and your little ones and their little ones, how not to hold on to these things, and how to create these new amazing memories, and replace the things that hurt us with these new aspects on life. So I created this book, and it goes through each of the chakra, as well as I've incorporated the colors, the elements, words of encouragement, and then of course the essential oil. And it just really, I'll just read just one, just to kind of give you an idea. But I love it because my son, for one, he loves it because it's a smell book, and who doesn't love a smelly book, And he just will sit there and he breathes it in, and I read him the passage, and he's just like, and he's young now, but I know that later on it's going to mean so much more. Every time he sees the book on the counter, he wants to read it or smell it, So I know that the scent is stimulating, and the more we continue to say the passage with it, it's going to really have some aha moments throughout life, right? I mean, I have them when I read it, and I wrote the book. So I'm just going to read the solar plexus. So the solar plexus chakra, as you breathe in the scent, know that the solar plex chakra is as yellow as the sun that heats us up and keeps us warm. Just like the fires in our bellies, May it always help you have passion, power, drive, and transform you into the person you want to be. And it is big words, but these big words, I wish I would have known when I was young, because now that I hear the word abundance and transform, I'm like, I don't think I ever heard those words when I was younger, So it's another thing of really just stimulating your child's mind. And I'm just going to briefly go over the chakras. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, I go over them a lot because they're very important. They really help us be intuitive with our body and understand like what's going on in certain areas of our body and why we express things the way that we do when we activate these areas. So the root chakra is at the bottom at the tailbone, and they go all the way up, and they're the color of the rainbow. So Roy G. Biv. Red, the root chakra, it helps us ground. When we have trouble in this area, it's because we're not letting go of things. We're holding on, which a lot of us are holding on to a lot of things. We're holding on to our past, right? We want to go back to 2019 because it was so much better, so much more relaxed. And 2020 has got us all in a bind, and we just can't get grounded because we're not sure of this new normal. So allowing things to let go and move forward is very important to help balance the root chakra. Moving right below the belly button is the color orange, and this is the sacral chakra. So this is our sexual chakra where the testes and the ovaries may be. This is the water chakra. This is the movement, the fluidity that goes throughout our body. What helps keeps us moving and motivated. Moving forward is the solar plexus, which is the yellow. This is the fire chakra. This is where we have those knots in our bellies and butterflies. So if your kids are ever like, I have butterflies, or I just have this knot, I don't feel good, mama, like something's uncomfortable with them, it can be a lot more solar plex than actually, stomach problems, because these energies that we hold inside in these chakras can actually come out. They feel like a physical pain, even though it's an energy. Slowly moving up to the heart chakra. So this is the air chakra. So the phrase, she wears her heart on her sleeve, is right here in this area. And you can tell when your little ones have a problem with this is because they begin to kind of slouch, and they don't want anybody in their heart area. Maybe somebody has hurt them, and they don't want those hugs. They don't want that compression because something is going on in the heart area. Moving up to the throat chakra. So the throat chakra is blue, and the element is ether. What the heck is ether? Ether is the blue that holds the clouds, right? It's this space that's there, and we don't necessarily understand why, but it's just there, right? So the esophagus, this space that's there, that is there regardless of whether we're eating or we unfortunately sometimes have food come up. But, like when we're eating, there's that space there regardless of whether you're having a drink or anything. It's just there, right? Moving up to the third eye, so this is indigo. Our vision and intuition, right? That fog that sometimes we get because we can't see where we need to go. We're not sure where the future is. What's going to happen for 2021, How can we get past this? Just kind of clearing that mindset and allowing yourself to just let go and follow through with whatever you need. And then finally, we have violet, which is the crown chakra. This is kind of like the one that's unity. It ties them all together so that when you feel balanced, you just feel more happy. You feel yourself. You're able to, like, the little things that you hold on to, you're able just to kind of let them go. And so I have another little one that's on the way. So I'm excited to also share this book with them. And I hope, have his brother read it to them, when they're little, because it just is such an amazing book to slowly teach your children about the chakras. Again, it's nonchalantly, but it's just, I incorporated so much of the chakras that every time you take a little something different, it's like when you watch a movie as a kid and you realize that in E.T. that was Drew Barrymore as a little kid, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize that, because you didn't know who she was really until you could understand who actresses and actors were, so it's just kind of like that aha moment that continues. And then just because they're not reading the book doesn't mean that when they smell lemon, it's not going to trigger something. It's like, oh, okay, I know this. This scent brings something up, right? And it allows them to let go of something that they may have been holding there. So I hope you enjoyed the book, and I hope you pass it on with all your little ones.